Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel, and here's the headline from crypto media outlet You Today. Flare to have its Spark token listed by 50 plus exchanges, Community claims. And indeed, this is a rumor, and it's getting bandied about all over the place, and I'll explain its origins. I'll tell you even here before I really dig in, right at the outset. I think that the vast majority, if not all, of the cryptocurrency exchanges that are offering the airdrop will ultimately allow the trading of the Spark token. But to this point, I just want to be clear, as much as I think that's going to happen, and I think like the crypto space in general is tremendously underestimating the Spark token, like those that are paying attention, and the rest that aren't really paying attention, they're just going to have their minds blown with what happens with all this in terms of adoption, not even just price action, but in terms of adoption potentially. But look, I think that you're going to see, again, a ton of exchanges ultimately trade it, but there's just not sufficient evidence at this point. But still want to talk about this because, frankly, as an XRP holder, if you're not excited about this, if you are indeed claiming your Spark tokens, functionally, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? I want to shake you. But look, at the outset, also, I do want to be clear, I don't have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who makes YouTube videos as a fun hobby about Ripple and XRP and cryptocurrency, and apparently, sometimes, even videos about the good old Spark token. So in we go. According to a Twitter post by an anonymous account popular in the XRP community, dozens of cryptocurrency exchanges, including some top-notch services, are ready to list Spark token after its airdrop. And by the way, I'll mention this too, if you haven't claimed your Spark token yet, if your account is eligible to claim the Spark token, you have until June 11th. After that, no chance. And so I haven't talked about the Spark token in some time. I haven't made a video about it in a real long time, frankly. There hadn't been a lot to talk about. But I have not claimed my Spark tokens yet, and I did start moving on that yesterday. So there's a little update for you right there. I personally have started moving on that, and maybe I'll make a video where I talk about that more if anybody's actually interested. But I'm doing some things that I think most people aren't in terms of claiming my Spark tokens. And it's been interesting, too, because I have a number of Ledger Nano S's, and like my oldest ones, they're from 2017, and I just plugged my oldest one in yesterday to take a look at my XRP, and on the ledger, the coin is called Ripple, and I'm like, oh, you done messed up, son. It's XRP, damn it. But it was, the two were conflated to an even greater degree back in 2017. But if you have the latest firmware and software, then yeah, it does now state that it's XRP. But it's just so funny. Even the software said, what do they call it? Ledger Ripple Wallet or something like that, because it's from 2017. I was like, my God. A lot can change. Like the XRP logo didn't exist back when I set up my first XRP wallet there. But anyway, I just wanted to give you a heads up that you do have a little bit more time if you want to claim this damn thing. But anyway, piece continues. An anonymous advocate of the XRP cryptocurrency at King Doggo XRP shared an infographic that covers the prospects of Spark, a core native asset of the Flare blockchain. And so here's the actual thread here, and I'm gonna actually run through the whole thread that I have on my screen right here. It's not that long because it's an interesting conversation on this topic. But I want to cover the initial tweet first from XRP King Doggo. Spark token is not yet live, and it's listed on 50 plus exchanges already. That shows you how big Flare will be. And so if you go to their website, I actually counted this manually. And unless I made a mistake in my counting, then you can see me scrolling through this now if you're looking at your screen. There are 99 exchanges listed on this page that have accepted the Spark token as an airdrop. 99 exchanges. And so I believe this is the greatest adoption of an airdrop in cryptocurrency history. I don't know that for sure, though. So if anybody knows of one where right at the outset there was greater adoption, let me know. So I'm not claiming that as fact. I'm just saying as far as I know that is the case. But happy to be set straight if that is not the case, and I'll be happy to credit you in a future video as well if you can point to something else. But I've never seen anything like this. And so if you're wondering why, it's because functionally, well, there's a lot of demand around it because there's a ton of XRP holders, so I think that's the core thing. But there's also something to this technology. And I won't pretend to be some sort of wizard in terms of the understanding of it, but it is fascinating seeing that you can add smart contract functionality with any cryptocurrency now. Because one of the things, one of the biggest questions I had when I entered the space is like, why do you need a coin attached to all of these blockchains? And I think for many of them you don't. You could just as well use a database. But even if you're talking about Ethereum, and I own Ethereum, so I'm not bashing on Ethereum here, but just in a general sense, you could kind of wonder, it's like, well, why do I have to pay for smart contracts specifically with Ethereum? What if you could do it with anything that you wanted? Wouldn't that be better? I think the answer is yes. And also, Ethereum is having trouble scaling to this point, but maybe there's a path forward. That'd be a whole different conversation. I don't really want to talk about a whole bunch about Ethereum on this channel anyway, just mentioning it. But in terms of, that's why I'm thinking in terms of long-term viability, if you're talking about scaling and just general implementation, with the little bits that I do understand about the Flare network to this point, I just think that so many people are going to be caught off guard and they're not expecting it. And if it has anything to do with XRP, my gosh, it must be really bad, right? That's what the Bitcoin maximalists think anyway. So anyway, 99 exchanges there. And then you go to this page, separate page that Flare set up, Japanese supporting exchanges. And they've got 12 listed here. And so check this out, because I didn't know anything about this, but let me read you a couple sentences here that Flare put down. They wrote on their page here, the following exchanges have agreed to claim and distribute the Spark token to their XRP holding clients should the JVCEA and JFSA approve the listing of Spark on each exchange before June 12th, 2022. In the case that distribution of Spark to users by an exchange is not possible due to an unforeseeable circumstances, Spark tokens will not be claimed by that exchange. So there you go. But if you do throw that other 12 in, I mean, gosh, I'm not some sort of math wizard, but that sounds a lot like 111 exchanges supporting this airdrop before the coin was even ready for launch. That's incredible. And so as I record this today, Spark's at $1.33. Now, this is just an IOU. I understand that because it's not been launched yet. But my gosh, even if the price drops because once everything hits the market, which could happen, okay, well, this thing's going to be distributed over the course of a few years. Where do you think it's going to, like, if there's, especially if utility takes hold, what do you think is going to happen next bull cycle? My God, I'm going to sit here and just thank my lucky stars that I'm getting all of these free Spark tokens here, even at $1.33. Damn. Like, don't cost nothing, son. I will absolutely take that. And so right now there's only two cryptocurrency exchanges on the planet that I'm aware of anyway that have publicly committed to allow the trading of the Spark token, and that would be BitTrue and also Poloniex. But you've got to wonder, if you're talking about over 100 exchanges total, 111 if you can include the Japanese exchanges, that want to and intend to allow for the airdrop of the Spark token, well, this costs money for them to set this up, even if for no other reason, just that they're paying employees to set it up. I don't know if there's any sort of technical infrastructure. There may be. I mean, one would think, right? Because you got to sort of number. So I don't know what the hardware implications would be or anything like that, but there are costs associated with this. And you got to wonder, it's like, why would any exchange not want to trade something like this? I mean, a massive quantity. Wouldn't you think there'd be enough liquidity based on how many people are claiming the Spark token? And it'll only grow from there as more people jump in and start purchasing, I would think anyway. People will trade anything, damn it. I'll tell you what. People will absolutely trade anything. I've seen what happens when coins get listed on exchanges. Sometimes they just rocket up, and then, yeah, you typically see quick crashes, but just, I don't know for sure it's going to happen, but nothing's going to catch me off guard. Wild volatility is in a general sense what I'm expecting, but whether it's way up or way down, I won't be surprised. But I still think if you just fast forward, what's the Spark token going to be with it in a few years when it's traded on a ton of exchanges, which I think is going to happen? I think personally it's going to be worth a ton more. I mean, my gosh, and so you get this for free, and then it's like, throw this on top of whatever your XRP's worth. Like, damn. I don't mind that one bit. So back to this thread now from XRP King Doggo. XRP community member named Michael Nardalilo responded to that, what XRP King Doggo wrote, and said, just because an exchange supports the airdrop doesn't necessarily mean they will list it. And that's certainly true. I think that's a fair point. And somebody named Tuffman responded, and every time I read that, I feel like I have like a lisp or something. Tuffman, like I'm Mike Tyson. Like Tuffman, Mike Tyson? I don't know. I'm just saying, guys. But anyway, Tuffman said, right. So the exchange will be forming wallets for everyone, and for 3 years, all they can do is keep moving Spark off to sell it. I don't think so. Talk about a lost opportunity to make money on trades. Which is why I would say if there's sufficient liquidity on exchange and it meets their criteria for listing, then I don't know why they wouldn't. So I think that there's just going to be a ton of markets for the Spark token the world over, but you don't know for sure until you let time pass, but I would suspect that. But Michael responded to Tuffman and said, "You don't think so? ? Exchanges have done that for other airdrops all the time, referencing that they would allow the coin to be dropped into a wallet, but then not trade it. And I don't know what the example of that would be. I'll take him at his word that that's true. But again, this is, as far as I know, the largest airdrop in history. And the liquidity should be there. Liquidity is a major thing. If you do all the airdrops you want, but if nobody cares enough to trade the damn thing, it's not going to matter. But this is one of the many reasons it was so smart for Flare to go this route. If you're talking about airdropping first to XRP holders, that's a big community. Even if not all of them take Flare up on it, my gosh, that's a big ass community, to be honest. We are a big community. And so even if other cryptocurrencies weren't they were allowed to be dropped on specific exchanges but not traded, I still suspect, even if not at launch, at Spark Token launch, I still suspect at some point in the not too distant future that the vast majorities, if not all of these exchanges, will be allowing the trading. That's my guess. We'll see if I'm right or wrong. I don't know. But then Tuffman responded to that and wrote, "Yes, but has there been an airdrop that lasted 3 years? It just seems like there will be great liquidity with so much involvement across the board, and it would be a missed opportunity. But I guess an exchange could decide not to trade." And yeah, so I think that's a thoughtful response. The liquidity, for me, that's one of the most key things. Without sufficient liquidity, it doesn't matter how awesome a cryptocurrency is, not going to be listed. And then Michael wrote, "It's definitely one of the first of its kind, being a staggered drop, and exchanges would definitely be missing out." Yeah, let me pause there. When he says staggered drop, he's talking about the fact that not all the Spark token is going to be given to holders all at once. There are multiple launches over a span of 3 years. I don't remember all the specifics off the top of my head, but it is staggered. And then he writes, "Many of them supporting the drop might list it, but my point was it's not a guarantee just because they support the drop. Look at Binance US. They are making users provide a Flare address and won't even be doing the drop from the Binance US wallet." Which I didn't know, actually, so that's fascinating as well. But I still think it's going to go, I think it's going to be, I really do suspect it's going to be widely adopted. And if you just look at what XRP did running up to $4, my gosh, this thing's getting launched this market cycle. I don't know where it's going to go, but what if we have an XRP over $10 and what if we have a Spark token over $10? Damn. I don't know if it's going to happen, but even if it doesn't happen this market cycle for the Spark token, what about next round? It kind of makes you wonder, right? So, and then there was this article. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I did want to touch on it. It's from Cointelegraph, titled "Druckenmiller: Ethereum is MySpace before Facebook, while Bitcoin won as Google." And so it's talking about, what's the guy's first name? Stanley, I believe, right? Stanley Druckenmiller. Is it staying in here somewhere? It probably says. I believe his name's Stanley. Why don't they have his name? Maybe it's lower. Anyway, he's somebody that came around to Bitcoin. He was a naysayer of Bitcoin, but like everybody else, enough time passes, then you're like, okay, what do I have wrong? If you're being intellectually honest, and you're like, okay, yeah, it makes sense, for a number of reasons. And the markets have proven, like the markets have made the choice. Like crypto's here to stay, even if you don't think Bitcoin's going to be around forever. At a minimum, certainly crypto will be. There's clearly something to this. Right, and so he's one of the most successful investors in the history of mankind, this guy, Druckenmiller. And here we go, maybe just down here. He said the following: "I think Bitcoin has won the store of value game because it's a brand. It's been around for 13 to 14 years, and it has a finite supply. Is it going to be gold? I don't know. It's sure as hell doing a good imitation of gold in the last year or two." Now, for Druckenmiller, Ethereum is to Bitcoin what MySpace is to Google. Here's another quote: "I'm a little more skeptical of whether it can hold its position. It reminds me a little of MySpace before Facebook. Or maybe a better analogy is Yahoo before Google came along. Google wasn't that much faster than Yahoo, but it didn't need to be. All it needed to be was a little bit faster, and the rest is history. And so, is Ethereum actually going to have staying power? There are all sorts of other competitors out there that many would argue are superior. And once utility takes hold and actually matters, is Ethereum going to hold that position? Will it be able to even scale? And so these are all question marks. I don't know. I don't know what the winning platform will be, but that's the reason I want to highlight this. Is I'm sitting here thinking about the Flare network and the Spark token, and just most people are completely, utterly clueless about it. If they even caught wind a little bit of it, and they're like, oh, something with XRP, blah, 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 blah. Ripple scam coin zero, Bitcoin. That's what the Bitcoin maxi trolls sound like. And so that's their response typically. But I think that their faces are just going to get melted as the price increases, but not just that, as the technology takes hold, assuming it does. But from what I've seen to this point, I mean, the coin, my gosh, being able to plug XRP or any other coin in, like that's better, is it not? It doesn't matter what cryptocurrency you use, as long as it's coded in so that whatever coin is going to be adopted for the smart contract platform. Like, damn, like to me that just seems superior. So we'll see how this all unfolds. But people are not paying attention to it enough. And I'm just saying, if we're sitting here before the coin launches at $1.33, where's this going to be in another few years? This is an IOU. What happens when the real thing hits? Even if the short term the price tanks as many are expecting, I don't know if it's going to, but even if it does, where's it going to be another few years out? I suspect substantially higher than that, at least when we enter the next bull market. But we'll see. I'll wrap up there. I'm not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.